Gig economy is already in trillions, and ProofOfWorks team aims to bring hiring and payroll on-chain with Kaspa at the heart of it.
If you are a nice programmer, if you are a nice artist, and all your history is in crypto, why can't you show that to an employer in real life, in Madrid, in New York?
If you're in Kaspa and looking to hire or looking for a job, then ProofOfWorks might be a solution for you.
Everything you were doing through transactions or through normal agreements on Telegram or Fiverr or whatever, you can now migrate it to ProofOfWorks and start having that on-chain history.
In this video, Ankit and ProofOfWorks team discussed how they are enabling on-chain job listing and reputation system built on Kaspa, along with a demo of the platform and their roadmap.
And a few seconds later, your job posting is live on the blockchain.
Built by the team behind KaspertheGhost.
ProofOfWorks is an extension of our efforts in Kasper as well as our other decentralized applications on Kaspa.
You will also get a sneak peek at Market, a stock image and NFT platform built on Kaspa using ERC1155 standard, challenging giants like Shutterstock.
ERC1155, which is a new addition to the Kaspa ecosystem. No one's really utilized that just yet. Kas fits the Bitcoin white paper better than Bitcoin does. It really is the fulfillment of Satoshi's vision.
Welcome to XXIM Podcast, your home of decentralization. Today, I'm here with ProofOfWorks team. Welcome, guys. So I've got Andrew, Jonathan, and Alberto.
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
Awesome,
to meet
guys.
you.
Thank you for being here, guys. That's amazing to have you here on the show. I've been looking forward to this chat. How do you define ProofOfWorks?
Everyone could have their own way to describe ProofOfWorks, but speaking from my side, I would say that ProofOfWorks is a solution in general, but we need to find how many problems we can solve, right? By the moment, we are focusing on something that is really relevant right now. For example, in my country, I'm from Spain, and here in Spain, we have 29 or 26, depending on the month, percentage of unemployment rate, right? So we are the highest on the European Union, and it's something that embarrasses ourselves, but it's something that has no easy solution. Nowadays, we've seen how young people has more and more difficulties to find jobs, especially since the COVID, since the pandemic. Everyone is looking for a remote solution. Maybe many people is working remotely. I'm an example of that. I'm a journalist in Spain, but I tend to work on an office and half of my time at home. So I spend all my day working, but half of my time is working remotely for people that I've never met, for example, in this case. And I know many people work in these conditions, and many more gonna work under these conditions in the future. And we need to focus on the bright side. It's not something really bad. I mean, work remotely has things that are not really good, but it also has advantages. Yeah. I mean, I can work from home, I can do my life, I can be with my dog. My dog is here. You cannot see him, but he is here with me. I can live my own life with my own parameters, right? Just with few limitations of time and quantity.
I see.
But it's a solution for this kind of world we're going to find in the next years.
Yeah, the world in front of, I think I completely agree with you. I think the future will be very different than the past, especially with the AI revolution that's happening in front of us. But yeah, Andrew or Jonathan, what do you like? Do you have your definition of ProofOfWorks? How do you guys define it? I want to get into technology and everything else, but I think it'll be good to understand. You know, what's your take on how do you define it?
Yeah, I would say ProofOfWorks is the evolution of payroll, of on-chain reputation, well, just worker reputation in general,
right? And
of work itself. Everyone's going to want to work online. Everyone's going to want to be paid in cash, crypto. We're going to enable stable coins. So I think it's just the future of work. ProofOfWorks is.
Awesome. Yeah. Anything from you, Jonathan?
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't think about it. What is ProofOfWorks to answer a big picture? For me, it's I know what it does for me, but also I think of what it can do for the community. I think most people in Kaspa want to be able to live off of Kaspa, whatever that means to them. And I think for us, this is an opportunity to make that happen. And so we're still in discovery phase. We don't know exactly what the use cases will be of ProofOfWorks, but I just hope it's one more thing that the community has to just big picture, get away from the fiat monetary system and kind of be better at having a Kaspa ecosystem or Kaspa monetary ecosystem.
Another question off the back of it before we get into the technology and exciting part is, what is the meaning behind proof of work? Is it proof of works as in Kaspa proof of work, mining proof of work? Or is it proof of works, which is, proof of work? Like, what was the thinking going behind when you came up with the name?
I think you already defined it, man, when you mentioned, proof of work and the proof of works sentence itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a proof of work because you worked and you have the proof on chain forever. And also it's built on top of the best proof of work coin or system ever created. So it's kind of a chain, it's kind of game of words at the end. I think we should or we could have selected many other names, but I think this one is really funny and it really defines what proof of works is. It's like you did a job, you did the work, you have the proof to show to whoever in your CV or in your history. You have it forever there.
Right. Yeah, I think think from a perspective of someone who's actually setting up a gig. Let me call it a gig for now, right? They wouldn't want to know which chain. I mean, we want to get to a world where someone coming to the platform wouldn't want to know what chain it's running on, right? If it's a proof of work chain or proof of, something else, right? Who cares, right? For them, it's all about proof of works, right? They're just putting their CV and they're just putting the gig or wanting to do some work. For them, it's irrelevant, from my perspective. I think that's the future we want to live in, right?
Exactly. It's like best of the two sides. I mean, it's an easy way to define who we are and what we're doing. And also it's kind of, an Easter egg for all the people who know more about crypto or who is already free, right?
What about your backgrounds? How did you guys end up in Kaspa in first place and now building on top of Kaspa?
I'm not a truly tech guy. I always said this on the AMAs or previous interviews. I'm not the kind of guy or that is always programming. I don't have any kind of vision on this, right? I'm truly limited on mathematics. So I discovered Cas, 4 years ago. It was 2022, so 3 years ago. So I was truly early to there. I was in crypto 5 years earlier. 2015, 16. I started to hear about Bitcoin, then about Cardano, Monero, all this revolution, Litecoin. By that moment, Litecoin was something new. So imagine. And then I was at university. I didn't have any background on crypto or something related. And I started to hear about Kaspa because a friend who used to live with me on a shared flat. So he started to tell me about it. And I said, man, don't tell me more. I'm going to put a few hundreds on it and let's see how it works. And it worked perfectly, man. And he was really, really, really into Kaspa. And he was looking for being the Spanish ambassador of Kaspa. At the end, it was Victor, another friend of mine who is a nice person. And we were in talks since the beginning, and I was truly interested. And I'm not that kind of guy who understands mathematics and cryptography. I cannot understand half of that, but I can feel the interest for that when somebody is explaining it to me on the right way, right? So I really felt interested in it. I'm a journalist. I have a degree in journalism. I'm a geopolitics and economic journalist here in Spain. I have what we call master. It's something that you have after the university, something like a post degree or something like that.
Right.
But it's not really much here in Spain. As I said, the employment rate is crazy. Everything's really bad for the young people. So crypto it was like an exit for me from reality, and now I'm building my own family. I mean, all these guys here, John and Andrew, are now friends of mine. So I think I want many more things besides what is the money and the projects itself. I want a family and a team.
Yes, beautiful, awesome. Andrew, what about you?
Yeah, so actually going full circle about the proof of works thing, I actually found out about Kaspa from mining since it's a proof of work.
Right.
I learned about it maybe 2 years ago now, and then we actually met Alberto and we started working on Kasper. We took that to pretty nice heights, and we're still working on that a lot. And proof of works is an extension of our efforts in Kasper as well as our other decentralized applications on Kas. I think Kas is the evolution of crypto. It's the future of finance, and we're here to stay forever, baby.
Awesome. That's amazing. I'm loving each and every story so far. John, you have to step it up now.
I'm the newest to but I found out about Kaspa Thanksgiving just this past year, 2024. I entered as a Bitcoin maxi. That's kind of big these days. We're seeing the conversation, the discourse.
Yes.
I came from Bitcoin maxi, and I think I was interested in learning more about Cas eventually, and I just found my way on X this year. And I think it's kind of I found myself with these guys from that point.
Right.
I became a Caspa maxi pretty quick. Caspa is really all I hold, anything in the ecosystem. And
Right.
I guess my background, my contributions, why I'm part of the ProofOfWorks project, is Albert actually reached out, and I didn't know we'd end up working together, but he reached out. He let me know about ProofOfWorks. He was like, "Hey man, just test it." I don't really think we had prior communications previous to it,
Oh yeah, no,
but my
really.
background, yeah, my background is in recruitment advertising. And so
Right.
I've spent 4 years. Yeah, I've spent 4 years, two of which being the social media strategist for Boeing, the airplane
Right.
manufacturing company.
Yeah.
And then the other two as an IT project manager or scrum master, like actually building recruitment advertisement products, CRM events platform. And so when Albert kind of just let me know about it, I was like, I was thinking about what a job platform on Caspa could look like. I kind of have the background. And when we started talking, Albert's just a cool dude. Like he kind of understood everything that I was proposing that the project could do to really be the de facto, the preliminary job board on Caspa. And I think from there we just like, hey dude, like let's partner. Like we
We
gotta
met,
deliver
and the
this for
next day
this.
you were in the team. I mean, we met, and the next day we were like brothers. Like, yeah, let's make it
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
It was crazy.
That
yeah.
is a beautiful bromance story here. I love it. I love the chemistry here between three of you. Just listening to you guys first time, I like it. I think it's beautiful. And that's how it should be. I think if it clicks, it clicks. So let me just move on to the next, perhaps obvious question, which is what led to creation of Proof of Works.
So we had this community member. He came up with a pretty good idea that we had to fix the problem with people not being able to be vetted on work
Wait,
platforms.
sorry, Andrew. I was saying, what community? Look, like this is before Proof of Works existed, right?
Yeah, so one of our Casper community members, he actually had this problem where he was hiring someone and they pretty much were a complete fraud. Like they couldn't do any of the work. You see their rating and their reviews, but you couldn't actually audit their work, what they've done in the past. So we came up with a solution that's on chain. Every piece of data is stored. Every job you do is stored. You have a on chain reputation that's actually followable. You can follow every single review they got on chain. So it's the only really vetting solution right now in online hiring. Like Fiverr, you can see their rating and the reviews, but it could all be fake.
At the end, when somebody proposes something like this, then you search on your mind and you always find something related that you already thought in the past. Because related with employment, we already saw in Casper and in Casper community itself, many people searching for job. And it's something really, it's good for me to see people, seeing me as a potential employer of them, of course. But I know I have my limitation. I cannot have I cannot hire everyone. So we also thought this as a solution for all these people fluid in the chats on Telegram, on Discord. Hey, I'm an artist. Hey, I'm a programmer.
Yeah.
I'm specialized moderator. I could do these services for you. And of course, we know this is a legit way to propose yourself to an employer. But at the end, if you have a platform, it's much better at the end. And also following the path what Fiverr is. I mean, I think also one of the keys is to eliminate or cancel that barrier of the fees in Fiverr, because we already used Fiverr a ton of times back in the days for punctual employments, some artists, some things testing, right? So we spent, I don't know, thousands of dollars on Fiverr, and some of this money was wasted because we paid a lot on fees. We paid a lot to people that we haven't know their background, their real background. So at the end, it's money that it's on dispute. at the end. So the best way to ensure that everyone has what they're looking for is having a fair system. Also, this leads to the disputes option. But yeah, I think we can talk about it later, deeper.
Yeah. I think we had on the show a couple of days ago, actually, Kaspa Finance guys, and they mentioned that there is a project that's actually building or bringing Fiverr on chain on Kaspa. And obviously they mentioned about you guys, right? ProofOfWorks. And when I looked at the website, when I finally had the chance to look at the website, I thought it's more than Fiverr. But I didn't think actually that it was as sort of simple and as copy paste of Fiverr. I don't think that's the case. So what are the things that actually you guys are thinking that wasn't working on Fiverr or Odesk or any of the outsourcing platforms?
Well, I think one of the main problems is the lack of communication in the platform. Also, I mean, you pass only this kind of review where you check the final job and everything. But in my case, it happened a few times only, not all the times, but a few times happened that I reviewed a job and I refused to pay, and it took, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month to have the money back. And some days it doesn't matter because you have planned the movement. So you have a bit of money reserved to make another proposal to another one. But sometimes you have only that money, and that money is key for you, and you need it as soon as possible. All of us can be friends, but money is a technical thing. Like, it's exactly, so you need your money back, right? So it's something that through small contracts we can eliminate these kind of problems. If you find your job is not done on the way you want, you can unlock that funds,
That's
receive,
true.
and of course,
That's true.
it's not only a good thing for the employers, because we are talking from the employer side. You are paying for something, you don't like it, you receive the money. But if you are on the worker side and you did a job that at the end is not what expected, it's not your fault completely. Maybe you misunderstood some details, maybe it wasn't your idea, you misunderstood some things. It happens.
Yeah.
And we are on
Yeah.
a global on a global world. So we are talking, I'm from Spain, John is from the US, Andrew is from Russia, the US. I mean, we are from all the sides of the world. So we can have these misunderstoods. That's why we also thought on the dispute system. You can have your own benefits being worker. If you think it's unfair, the treatment you received, we can review it for you and find the best solution.
Yeah, I actually like the dispute, resolution part of the website. I thought that that's quite neat and new innovation in that space, because Fiverr and other platforms, I don't believe they want to get into that dispute resolution, type of thing. They don't want to waste their time, right? Time is money for them. But I thought, the way you guys are thinking about it, at least, which we're going to get into in a second, is quite neat. So why don't we jump on the actual demo? It'll be great to actually show it to people. How to navigate and how to set up a profile, all the things you guys actually are wanting to perhaps communicate. Yeah, you guys can drive it and tell us what we're looking at, and then obviously I'll keep asking you a question, interrupting you.
Nice. I think Andrew is the best one to guide you through the platform while he's on the screen.
Yeah, so this is our splash page. This is pretty much just a breakdown of the main features of the application. We still have to add the market details on this page, as it's one of our new tabs we just added, a new page for selling and buying assets on ERC 1155 contracts and ERC 721 contracts. But otherwise, we can go over the current features that were released in Beta 1. It's on Casplex Testnet for smart contracts. All of our stuff on this app uses smart contracts.
I see. So it's on Casplex Testnet. I see. Cool. And is there a specific reason you chose Casplex over IGRA, or is it just because Casplex is coming out earlier?
Yeah, for now, we're going to go with Casplex because they're going to come out earlier, but if we see that the community wants us to switch to IGRA or Sparkle in the future, whatever becomes the most successful, we can always adapt the application. It's just a matter of redeploying the smart contracts on a different chain, pretty much.
Cool. All right.
Alrighty, so I'll take it away now. So this just explains all of our on-chain transparency and how everything works. I don't know if you want to read through it, Alberto, or someone.
Let's show a practical case, like enter to your account or do something like post a job or something like that, something that people can, take as an example for making themselves.
Gotcha. So let's go to the tasks page then. We'll connect our wallet. I recommend using MetaMask right now. You can't see the sign in because I'm using the screen share, but I signed in. Here's your account. You can see your messages. If you start a conversation with someone, you can see your address, all your transactions on the Explorer. So now we'll post the task. So this is for workers actually to post tasks of stuff that they're good at, which is different to our post a job page where employers can only post tasks. So when you sign up, the role you choose is quite important. If you want to be posting jobs, you have to be an employer, and if you want to find work and apply to jobs, you have to be a worker, as well as for posting tasks. But our market page, you can be either or, and you can post and buy assets.
How do you choose to be a worker or employer? Where is that option?
So when you sign up, I can make a fresh wallet if you'd like. When you sign up, it'll ask you if you want to become a worker or employer, where you input your display name. Here we go. Enter your display name. You could say some random letters, and then you select your role. You can't see the drop down on the screen share, but you check employer or employee, and then you click get started, and that's it.
Why you force people to select upfront their roles? Because I could be employer, I could be a worker.
It's quite important to our on-chain reputation because you want an accurate reputation. You don't want a mixed reputation of worker, employer. You want to see if that guy's a good employer or if he's a good worker. And when you mix the two, it really messes up the reputation and becomes inaccurate for the people trying to hire you or people you're hiring.
It's a way to avoid that. For example, if you are a nice worker, but in the case you post a job and the worker you hired is an asshole, but with bad words, bad expressed, but he can leave you a bad report or a bad review, and it doesn't fit with your work and with you actually do. So we decide to make it separate, but you can of course have two accounts on MetaMask, even on the same Google Chrome, and then logging with one of another depending on your needs.
Yeah, I think some platforms will have one login, but they will split the account into worker account and employer account, and then they'll have their rating system, right? So I think that was my sort of question, that why do I have to have, I could have had account with two, but yeah, cool. I mean, that's fine. That's the architecture you guys going with.
Also, of course, it's important to know that we are yet on the first beta. These kind of things can be improved with the next beta. We are going to throw the second one with the marketplace and some new features. But yeah, of course, we are relying 110% on what the community wants to see on the platform. There is not, of course, we have our own ideas, our own brainstorm sessions, but at the end, we rely on what the community decide and being ready for what they can see at the end.
So I'm the employer now, Andrew. What can I do as an employer? Can I post a job? I'm looking for a editor.
So you would come to this post a job page, and everything is outlined here in these 4 cards, what you need to do. First, you create the listing right here. You can choose if you want to do a weekly payment or if it's a one-time job, it's just a one-off payment, which they complete and claim, and you also complete and claim when the job is done. So both parties have to agree that the job is finished and then the payment are released. And weekly payments, every week, automatically the smart contract releases the weekly payment from Escrow. But you have to lock the whole duration and the weekly pay. So let's say you're getting paid 50 CAS a week. For 8 weeks, you would have to lock the 400 CAS and when you're posting the job.
Gotcha. Yeah, cool. Nice.
I can show you an example of how it's done. It's say just put 5 CAS for an example. Job title, developer, test, and then you can input tags, which makes it easier for users to find your jobs. You just click enter.
I recommend you guys, if you want to post a job, to post, for example, a tag with your name, like the podcast.
Oh, I see. So the projects can, so Nacho wants to post it, Nacho can use Nacho itself, their name rather than individual person's name.
Also, we're looking in the next betas to make like verified profiles, the same that, for example, on Kaspacon and other marketplaces, you have your verified profile if you are selling an NFT collection, etc. So we are willing to introduce this in the future because right now everything is a test. Everything when mainnet goes live, everything is going to be erased and redone, right? On the history.
So the Kaspa.com has this profile, right? Some of them are verified. Very small percent are verified, but yeah, majority of them actually aren't verified. So I see. So you are saying those are the same features you can bring in here as well.
That's also a way to ensure that people knows if it's the real Nacho or the real Kasper who is offering the job.
Comes, official, which is good because we have seen recently with IGRA token, right? Which wasn't actually IGRA.
Exactly, man.
So what just happened, Andrew? I think going back to the listing you created, looking for a developer, you posted a weekly payment schedule there. What just happened after that? You created? Oh yeah, okay, I see. So it just popped up there.
Yeah. So you pretty much just click create job listing, and then a MetaMask or whatever wallet you're using, a transaction will pop up. You confirm the transaction, and a few seconds later, your job posting is live on the blockchain. It's really fast on Cas. It's quite impressive too because there's a decent amount of data actually being stored on the blockchain, and for it to be pushed that quick or the transaction to complete that quick, it's impressive, man. It's the beauty of Cas.
I mean, we all agree on that. So what just happened there? So from the listing, how did it get pushed on the layer one? I'm just trying to see what control do we have over the listing.
So you can see it on the smart contract address. You can see the blockchain interaction that happened. We have it listed in our documentation page right now. We just actually updated our smart contract, so we haven't put the new address yet, but you can go to our documentation page and look at all the contracts we have here. And we also have a guide for people that want to integrate our contracts because, I mean, they're really permissionless and you can just make your own version of ProofOfWorks or an extension of ProofOfWorks on your website using our exact contract. So let's say Kaspa.com wanted to have a ProofOfWorks section, they can add that. We're super flexible here and transparent.
And then from Cosplex EVM, from smart contract, Cosplex, well, it's actually running on Cosplex EVM. It obviously gets pushed into the layer one. Anything you want to highlight there? What happens on the layer one itself?
Everything is actually happening on the layer 2 right now. Until they release the layer 1 bridge, we can't really interact with the layer 1. Casplex hasn't announced many details on the bridge just yet. I know IGRA is going to be using iCas as a bridge, which is quite interesting. It's another version of wrapped CAS pretty much.
Which is also their security token as well.
I think everything's pretty much handled within the smart contracts. We have no oracles are being used as well, so it's pretty secure. No oracles. We have reentrancy guards, all the standard smart contract safety implementations. We're working through an audit right now as well. After we finish everything, we're going to pay for that. We're already in contact with them. They're ready for us to send the code. So everything's going to be audited. Everything's going to be transparent and viewable on the website.
Cool. And how do you guys do escrow? Now I'm locking out my CAS. I'm doing a 2 months contract with this worker who's potentially going to come after seeing my listing. How do I, these escrows are developed by you, right? It's part of a smart contract. It's not third party that we're bringing in here.
So we pretty much, our job factory contract composes of 5 different smart contracts, all compiled into one. One handles the escrow, one handles the listings, one handles the reputation, and there's a few more handling other stuff. It's the best way for us to integrate this smoothly, seamlessly, without deploying 10 different contracts.
Yeah. And this is what you're going to go through the audit, right? Because that's exactly what they're going to get, right?
So they're going to audit these 2 contracts and then our new 2 contracts, which make this marketplace work. They're a ERC 1155 contract and an ERC 721 contract, which pretty much allows users to mint unlimited asset types. Let's say, I'll go over this page real quick. So you would list a new asset, you want a stock image or whatever, you select the license type. Exclusive license means only one person can buy that asset. Standard license means that anyone can buy that asset as many times as they want. And that uses ERC 1155, which is a new addition to the Kaspa ecosystem. No one's really utilized that just yet. And this uses ERC 721, same as NFTs. So if you want to go here, you go browse an asset, you want to buy, let's say, this asset.
Right.
You just click that, purchase license, the transaction pops up from your wallet, you purchase it, and few seconds later, it's going to be completed, and then you can go to your downloads, download the thing. I'll show you now. Purchase completed, and now you have the stock asset in your purchases. Here we go. Now you can download the asset, and as you can see, it's downloaded, and you have the image you just paid for downloaded, and you're fully licensed on-chain. So even if, let's say, the company's database disappears, you can't get sued for using someone else's asset because you own it on-chain.
So Andrew, I want to come to this one. I think you've already showed it to me. I have a few interesting questions here, but can we just go through employers setting up a job, and then I want to go through the process, and then I want to come to the marketplace. I think this is very cool, and I know this is your brand new feature you guys just launched today. So I want to spend time, but can we just go through that full sort of workflow, what just happened before?
Yeah, for sure. I think it might be best if we start with the tasks page then, because this seemed to be our most popular page out of all, since workers like to post their skills. We have a bunch of listings here. You can go through our pagination, check them. Let's say you want a custom Kaspa merch hat design. So you can see the person's preferred CAS amount, and you just click send offer. You type the amount you want to send an offer for. He has 600. I don't have that much TCAS in my wallet. So let's say I'll put 10 as an example. Creating the offer on the blockchain. I don't even have enough to create this offer. My wallet's empty. But you would click to confirm it, and then it would send them the offer. The employer or the worker would accept your offer. And then you can come here, you see the manager sent offers. It would say accepted, and then it would turn it into a job, actually. So it automatically uses our Job Factory smart contract and migrates that listing to post a job or find work. And then you can see your payment request, everything here.
Cool.
You got your current listings. So it's a nice smooth flow that benefits our workers a lot because they get to showcase their skills.
Yeah, cool. I went through this page actually. They're looking for work, right? This is the section. This is what perhaps people call Fiverr, because it is exactly what Fiverr does, right?
This is like kind of the Fiverr section of ProofOfWorks, which, as you can see, is the peripheral for people, because there's more people looking for a job than people offering a job.
Yeah, of course, and it ties back to your point earlier also about the economy, macroeconomy, unfortunately.
I like to say also that our work doesn't end. Of course, Andrew is making a huge job on the tech side. He's giving us all this platform to play with. But at the end, here is where John and me start to work, connecting people, etc. We are trying to bring some people not only for looking for a job, but also potential employers at the end. We have, I think, later we can go deeper on this, but we are connecting with some companies also trying to create a plan to reach more and more people, to also hire people, to also post jobs, not only post text, because at the end we know everyone is looking for a job. It's a nice solution for everyone who is looking for a Fiverr section, but of course we also willing to offer this job section for employers.
I think you guys perhaps has to reach out to anyone who's in the Kaspa ecosystem, right? Currency or Kasway or anyone.
All the devs, for example, on IGRA and on sellers, we are also looking for them to have their own dedicated profiles, to their own dedicated post. And also it's something that is not restricted for people that is looking for a new job. For example, here in Kasper, we are hiring artists every week. Like it's the same artist, but we are making payments every week for our art on the project. So it could be migrating to ProofOfWorks. And as soon as we go mainnet, everything you were doing on through transactions or through normal agreements on Telegram or on Fiverr or whatever, you can now migrate it to ProofOfWorks and start having that on-chain history and start having all these benefits from the platform.
I don't think that you guys even need to justify it. You just need to reach out to a number of people that are in Kaspa first, impress them with the tech, and obviously make sure you listen to them, right? once they're there, I think then it can start to spread. And there are plenty of builders now. I think with with IGRA and Cosplex coming, I think there will be more and more builders.
Exactly, man. You have it totally right, man.
Couple of questions actually on this screen for you, Andrew. How many actually listings have you actually, this is obviously testnet running on testnet. So have you got actual users that are actually testing it and coming and giving you feedback? If so, how many wallets have connected to this so far as testing users?
Yeah, so we actually just redeployed the post the job contract, the job factory address you saw before. So these are new jobs since we just did some upgrades to the contract, made a new one. There were a lot more before, but we literally just upgraded. So there's only a few right now live on the site. But I would say probably around 70, 75 people that have posted jobs / tasks so far.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. And what is the difference between job and a task for you guys? Like, is it a difference on the platform?
So tasks workers post, and then jobs only employers can post. So this card right here would be blacked out and say you have to be an employer to post a job, and then vice versa for the tasks page. You can't post it. You see, only workers create tasks. Please switch to a worker account.
So workers can post a task, and workers can also apply for a job.
Correct.
Right. Okay. All right. I got you. And in terms of the listing, how are you thinking of charging for the listing? Have you guys thought about the transaction fee? And obviously you'll have to pay to Netflix, you'll have to pay to layer one. What do you guys are thinking in terms of both, for the worker and also for the employer?
We implemented a super small fee. We don't want to be pretty much mongering money from people's pockets. We put a 0.75% fee right now. It's tiny, fractional, just to keep the server running and keep us afloat. But we're here for the community, not here to just run people's pockets.
And this fee kicks in only when the task / work gets filled, or is it upfront fee?
So the only fee there is, it's for employers, pretty much, when they post jobs. And then on the market, whenever you buy an asset, there's a small fee.
Right.
Those are the only two fees.
What about tasks? So if I'm the worker, I'm posting a task, and someone sends me an offer, is there no fee there? Like, you're not charging any fee there?
To send an offer, there's no fee, but once the worker accepts the offer and then you initiate the job factory smart contract, you pay that same 0.75% fee as if you were posting a job. Because pretty much when you initiate that smart contract, it's like posting a job, and then the person that posted the task gets sent that contract with an automatic application to the contract filled in with their pre-requirements from the task. It's pretty similar flow, just modified for the worker to create their task.
Got it. Cool. I think that was a very good summary so far. Why don't we move on to the market tab that I think is the brand new feature for you guys today?
Yes, sir. So this we're really excited about. We've been working on this for quite a while now, and it's going to be a lot of fun because everyone needs stock assets. Let's say you're making an NFT collection, you want some trades. You're making a cool video, you want some cool stock video assets or sound effects, whatever it could be. So you come to here, you can list an asset, you upload a JPEG, PNG, MP4, MP3, and we're going to enable a few more file types within the future, like 3D models and stuff. But this is the base version for now. You pretty much put your asset title, say test video, you put your description, this is a test, and then you can, let's say you want to post a video, you put video, here you choose the category, it's animation, you click upload, here video asset test, and you could put tags, let's say video animation. You click enter, that inputs the tag automatically, and then you list the asset. First, you got to put a price, 2K as a test. Then you list the asset now. I got a thing in the way there. You can't see it now, but there's a MetaMask pop-up confirmation where you do a smart contract interaction, and now this will list the asset And since I chose standard license, this is going to be on our ERC 1155 contract. And now you can see my assets, my listed assets. Here's that test video I just listed.
Oh, beautiful.
View details.
Right.
And we added a cool little thingy where you can like people's postings. You see added to favorites, and this actually uses your wallet to like them. And you can view all your favorites here with this favorite category. So let's say you don't have the cash to buy the asset, you want to buy it in the future. You just like it, you can leave the page, come back in a few weeks or whenever you want to buy it, and you can easily buy it.
How is it linked to the worker or employer? Because if you are signed up as an employer, can only employer set up this?
Anyone can use it, employer, worker, anybody can use it, but it does show your reputation when you post. So whatever your worker or employer reputation is, whenever you post the video or whatever asset you want to sell, you can see here it's going to show your reputation.
Cool. This is that's quite unique, and you can sell more than, you can sell the same asset to more than one person, right? That's
Correct.
ERC 1155, right?
That's all dependent on this license type that you select. If you select standard, it's going to use ERC 115. And if you use exclusive, which means only one person can buy it, so whenever that one person buys it, your listing disappears. That uses ERC 721 standards. It's a cool blend we made.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
You can license whatever, man. If you are, for example, I met in the past, back in the days, some of my friends were producers, music producers, and they used to sell their beats or their rhythms on this kind of unknown pages where nobody is clicking. So they only download it on MP3 from YouTube and they steal their work. So this is a kind of way to distribute your music also if you want to.
I really like it. And in fact, and I also like the fractionalized NFT part, which is ERC 1155, right? Because now you can fractionalize, it's not just one person who needs to own it. That's definitely first time I've seen on Kaspa.
For example, in XX and your podcast, man, you can have your own dedicated content for paying users. For example, for premium users, you have, I don't know, an interview and you want to give like 45 minutes for free and 15 minutes, paying, or maybe not paying for seeing, but paying for having it before the rest, maybe. So you can distribute it, your content here and gain some cash, your work, right?
That is beautiful. So we can have exclusives here. Maybe we should try with the ProofOfWorks exclusive.
Exactly. You can have a banger, man. Imagine you have a banger. Everyone is going to be interested on it, but you can have a bit of cash. It costs you an effort. It costs you your time and your effort. So
it's very cool to see actually you guys bringing in on ProofOfWorks. And how do you guys see now on the more practical side? How do you see adoption curve for you guys? Have you reached out? Have you spoken to people outside of obviously development side? What's been the feedback?
I think there are two kinds of feedbacks. One of them is related with the platform, with what can be improved on the technical side, and the other kind of feedback is what the ideas can become to, right? Many people have a ton of ideas to improve the platform on the literal side, not only on the technical side. For example, I had not really feedback, but yes, the suggestions on the platform that suggest us to make it with more features related with bio, images, etc. And we are really taking it into account to make possible to people have their own profile pics, to make offers with pics. For example, if you can make an offer to a job, adding or giving some information of you, maybe even giving your CV in PDF or giving whatever you need to add to the employer. It's going to be an option in the future. We are now figuring out how to make it possible. But about the experience on real life, on what we can try to bridge to gain, I think the key of this is what people is actually doing on Web3. We actually know, we talk about it, about all the people who is looking for a job or who is already looking or who is, already doing a job. There are many people, for example, we have some people working with us on this. We have people working with us on Kasper, and some of them are from Fiverr. Some of them, we met them on the community. It doesn't matter at the end, but the key is they are doing our job for us. So it's also a good way to, it's the best use case. by the moment, to make all the Web3 people already have their own chain history, have their own reputation level, their reviews, everything gathered in one place. It's also good. They want to go to the real life, because nowadays, I don't know if this happens to you, but here in Spain, it's like a barrier. It's an invisible barrier. But what happens in crypto doesn't matter with what happens in real life. It's like there are two separate worlds. Right now, I'm trying to make this difference with the platform. Like whatever you do on Web3, will be nice to recognize it on the real life too. I mean, if you are a nice programmer, if you are a nice artist, and all your history is in crypto, why can't you show that to an employer in real life, in Madrid, in New York, wherever you go? If you want to apply for a job in real life, imagine you want to apply for a job in Adobe or whatever. You can bring your own chain history and say, I'm the guy who did this, and anyone else, only me. So it's also a way to give value to what people is doing actually on Web3, because it's an undervalued place right now.
That's beautiful. And Andrew, thank you so much for showing us. Just moving on, I guess. Area that we talked about before is the DAO-based dispute resolution. Can we jump on that and perhaps just discuss a little bit on how you're thinking of doing the dispute resolution?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
By the moment, we don't have a juror team, right? We need to create this juror team. And our plan, we already started connecting people, but our plan is to have all the community the best represented as possible, right? Have people from Cast Media, it's just examples, right? Random examples. People from Media, people from your podcast, people from the exchanges, the DEXs. I'm talking like Kaspa.com, Talos, etc. Also, people from the main projects of KRC20, maybe the top 5, and of course, voices of the community.
I think it looks very promising, and perhaps it's something you still need to, it needs to take shape, but that's the direction you want to go in.
Exactly. Also, we were, this is a very basic way to present it, but we also planning to introduce in the future, if people is down to, maybe a kind of reward system for this kind of jurors, because many people gonna ask for Kaspa, of course, if they are investing their time, why not to apply the logic we are using for the platform for the employers and the workers? Why not to apply the same logic for the jurors? So we can maybe plan something like have a cut of that fees for that works you are deciding, you are voting, or you are resoluting. You can have a part of that fees for it. That's the way people get involved and get something in exchange.
And you guys are not thinking of your own token? That's not the plan, to go in that direction of your own token?
Not yet. By the moment, we have it's like not an idea. It was discarded, I think. We are now on a phase where we need to show the platform, see if people likes it, find all the possible ways to improve it, to have feedback, users, and maybe in the future we need that token, but only in the case we need it, we should create it only.
Yeah, when you guys think it's the right time, when you think is the right use case of the token, of course, I think token obviously does create headache, but also it does bring some resource over to your capital that can be deployed to obviously to build platform further, or gets community excited, right? There's a lot of pros of having a token, but obviously
exactly, I'm not against creating a token. I mean, it doesn't mean that we're gonna grab money or something from the community, but of course we trying to focus itself only on the platform right now. And if there is any necessity or needed that specifically lead us to create a token, that will be only the only case we'll create one.
All right, thank you, Andrew, for sharing the screen. Unless there was something else that we missed.
Maybe just I could show you this cool little light and dark switch, and it makes the background pop up with these little cool dots. It's a nice visual effect. I like it.
I like it as well. Here's your sort of long-term aim here with ProofOfWorks. Where do you see where do you see this platform in next 2 years' time?
I think we can really shape up the Web3 payroll solution as well. Not even just being like the Fiverr of Web3. I don't know if you know what ADP is on Web 2. So we can pretty much be the ADP of on-chain as well. Let's say you already have someone you hired before we released the platform. You can create your job on here, have them apply for it, accept that application, and then their pay gets automatically paid every week. So you don't even have to do anything payroll-wise. You don't have to send them cash weekly or whatever you want to do. You just create the contract once, lock your funds, and that's it. It's a one-stop payment solution as well, not even just for finding workers.
Cool. Anything from Jonathan and Alberto?
Big picture, I really don't know yet. Honestly, the use case is there, the technology is there. I'm biased. I think it's a great platform, but we'll see how the adoption shapes up during the next couple of years. I think we have a solid plan for how we plan to go about getting this adopted. We're focused on the ecosystem first before we focus on any other cross-chain activity. But I really don't know. I think I'm excited to see where the beta goes before I kind of put a 6, 12, or 24-month roadmap or goals or expectations. But I think that this is truly a new use case, and I'm excited to see what the community does with it in their hands, and excited to hear the feedback that they have.
Yeah, I'd say it's a mix. My feelings are a mix between Andrew and John. I mean, the sky is the limit at the end. We don't have any, I don't know, any fixed goals by the moment. Our goals is to keep ourselves alive in the idea. The idea is unlimited, but we need to set the limits, right? And that's the community. The community is gonna play that role where the proof of works platform starts and where it ends. And our main goal is to make it the easiest platform to use for people to being hired and to hire people. And of course, trying to this way also spread educational content about Kaspa. I mean, we need to spread ourselves as a platform, but it also carry an effort from the Kas community itself. You cannot explain proof of works to somebody that doesn't know anything about Kas, for example. So it's also one of our missions, our goals: empower people to know more about Kas, empower people to know more about the ecosystem that we are creating together. It's not only about us, it's about everyone here. But in our case, it comes through Kaspa. Whenever you discover Kaspa, you'll discover in an unlimited world of use cases and solutions for real life. So you only need to search your problem and find the solution. I mean, but of course, this was related. I don't know if we can talk about this later, but this educational content is also, we're trying to go with this with sponsorships, with stands, not only like posting on socials. We also trying to offer people an opportunity to have something official powered by Kaspa in their events, in whatever. We are open to send merchandise. We are open to send people or to find people on the place to spread the word about Kaspa and about proof of works. For example, it's happening right now in Nigeria. Is something that John and me were willing to share with you guys. Right now, I don't know exactly the time zone in Nigeria, but right now there is an event on universities and it's fully sponsored by KEF, by Proof of Works. We sent 50 t-shirts, mixed sizes. We sent stickers, and we're willing to have the images by today because the event is right now. And I really hope that people learned about Kaspa, learn about the use cases, and find their place there.
Perhaps one of the wrap-up question I wanted to ask, like a fun little segment. Where do you see Kaspa, going in a couple of years' time?
I mean, we are seeing with our eyes what's happening with crypto. This cycle is not anymore that the last ones or what we were used to. Everything is gonna change, and now governments are realizing. Now the world is realizing this is unavoidable. This is something that people is not gonna leave on a side because yes, it's something that has a ton of regulations, opposite regulations, to try to stop this movement, and it's not stopping, it's growing. Even with all these legislations, all these governments trying to oppose to the revolution. And what I have clear is I'm a geopolitical journalist and I'm every day talking about economics, this kind of government, this kind of economy, this kind of blah blah. So I'm always I always tend to use this expression, and the system needs to change, but the system can change itself. It's people who needs to change the system.
The sky is the limit, honestly. I think it can be number 2 easily within the next few years. Really, what's stopping it right now? Not much, just price suppression. Once we get huge adoption, new liquidity, Cas will skyrocket. You can see what's happening. Let's say even John, he was a BTC maxi. He learned about it in November, and now he's all in on Cas, because once you learn about Cas, you understand that that's the future of finance, the future of crypto, and the future of our world, honestly. It's the direction we all need to head in as a society. Great benefits, everything on-chain, way more secure than fiat. No one can print more. A great emission schedule. The future is just
beautiful.
It's exciting for Kaspa, and it's so exciting.
It is beautiful. And John, over to you.
Cash is a solution. I think it's going to solve a lot of the problems with what the fiat monetary system brings to the world. A lot of the overhead of having to mediate finances, having to mediate decision making, things like that. I think, like Andrew was saying, I'm not much of a price action guru or what market cap Cash is going to be X amount of time, but I do think it's going to sit second to Bitcoin as something that will dethrone Ethereum in terms of what it means, in terms of DLT, its technology. So I'm really bullish on Cas. I don't see why it's not next to Bitcoin in terms of use case and what it means to crypto and just the world in general.
Yes, many people would even say that Cas fits the Bitcoin white paper better than Bitcoin does. It really is the fulfillment of Satoshi's vision, and then that gets into even more interesting aspects with the Jonathan. That angle is always going to be there on the internet, and we know how people go crazy, especially BTC maxis, whenever they think someone's Satoshi. So Jonathan is, like, in my eyes, he is the real Satoshi right now. Even if he wasn't the original creator of Bitcoin, he's the one following Satoshi's vision to a T, even better than the Bitcoin creators themselves did. So he in my eyes is Satoshi, even if he's not the real Satoshi in quotes. He's the man.